Welcome to Punks Talk Wrestling! On this episode, we have multiple face and heel turns. We have an end of a career via knockout thanks to one of the dumbest fucking ideas anyone has ever come up with in professional wrestling. And The Undertaker flat out murders the Big Boss Man as we review Wrestlemania 15. I am R.W. Hellborn, the punk rock prince of PA, hailing quote unquote from Philly! I am one half of the crowd, which is one half of your Punks Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast Champion hosts of the world! And always virtually by my side, 3,500 miles away in London, England, he is my tag team podcast partner. He is the other half of the crowd, which is the other half of your Punks Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast Champion host of the world! Mr. Did You Know, Sir King of Reels, the proper prick, CJ Newman!
Goddamn, every time. Did you know that the last ever WrestleMania to be held in an indoor arena to an attendance of 17,155 people was WrestleMania 22, held in 2006? Contrary to what the anonymous podcast cockhead said to us earlier this week, trying to be really smart
early on,
came to us and he was like, "Oh, did you know that WrestleMania 15 was the last WrestleMania to be held in an indoor arena?" Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. And, you know, it's kind of things like this that fills me completely with confidence that whenever we do face each other for this, what's the name of the championship?
Superior Intellect of All Things Professional Wrestling and Phil Collins Championship.
Yeah, and proof of that is the fact that I didn't even have to look this up. I knew this immediately. I knew that the last indoor attended arena event for WrestleMania was WrestleMania 22. I knew it wasn't WrestleMania 15. And this jackass comes here, and he comes and writes on our posts saying, I could do Dan Bowman and CJ Newman's job so easily with my superior intellect of all things professional wrestling and Phil Collins.
Now he's coming after special counsel Danny the Brain Bowman too.
Yeah. So he's trying to say that he knows more than all of us, but yeah, here he is dropping facts that aren't even real. They're not even real facts.
This dude's fighting a battle on two fronts now, which is never a good option.
So here's the deal. You know? Anonymous podcast.
Never a good option.
Anonymous podcast cockhead.
Hashtag anonymous podcast cockhead.
Yeah. I don't know when you and me are going to meet, but whenever it does happen, boy, you're going down.
Well, now that you mention the word when,
okay,
I've got some news for you, CJ Newman.
Okay.
Because I did receive via the Punks Talk Wrestling Certified Satellite System, PTW CSS. Yeah,
I like it.
Episode 34 on 4/4/24 will have the inaugural Punks Talk Wrestling Superior Intellect in All Things Professional Wrestling and Phil Collins championship match between CJ Newman, one half of your Punks Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast Champion host of the world.
That means that means by the end of that day I'm going to be a double title holder, right?
You may be the first dual champion in Punks Talk Wrestling history.
Right. First of all, I'd like to thank the Brain Bowman, because, you know, doing the right thing, putting me in a match, whatever this match ends up being. We don't know the rules, we don't know anything just yet. But I will make one thing, as I got an announcement of my own. And in true Tony Khan fashion, I've got an announcement to make next week.
Oh, yes. We got a CJTK announcement.
So I'm glad that
CJTK.
I've got this opportunity to shut this guy up once and for all. He's been nothing but a thorn, not only on my side, not on your side, but this entire PTW community side. He's in the comments section of every single fucking post we make.
I have seen him trolling our account in other podcast sections.
Well, you're right. He actually has. So
this controversy is bleeding over into the greater wrestling podcast universe. And we've got to put a stop to this.
Shut this guy up. And I do honestly feel like I am the person and I am the guy that can do this.
You are the one.
I possess the superior intellect of all things professional wrestling. And look, if that's part of the stipulation and I need to brush up on my knowledge of Phil Collins, then I'll damn well do it because I'm a fighting champion, and whatever it takes, I will win that inaugural championship and shut this cockhead up once and for all.
And you have exactly 4 weeks.
Enough time. Phil Collins is British, man. I ain't got to go far to learn about
it. It's in the bag. You could just call him up. Right? Everybody
he lives
in
down the
has
street,
each other's
man.
phone.
All us Brits, we know each other, man.
Yeah, right.
It's a small country.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got this. Yeah. You got this. It's in the bag. It's in the bag.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Here you go.
Outsider.
Did your bonus? Phil Collins was born in Wandsworth. It's two towns away from here. I can get to Wandsworth on a bus in like 20 minutes.
You could get there on foot in like a little more time.
Yeah,
in more time than that, but like at a rapid pace.
But it's a walkable distance. I could get there. I can walk to Wandsworth. So anyway,
you could walk to Phil Collins' house.
Yeah,
childhood home, have a cup of tea with his grandmother.
Yeah.
Phil Collins' grandmother probably isn't living.
I mean,
anymore.
Phil Collins is 73 years old.
Phil Collins is 73. So, yeah, you can have a cup of tea with his grandchildren. Yeah, probably. Or him. No, him. I mean, you could just have Phil.
He's still alive.
Yeah, I don't ever. Why wouldn't he still be living in his childhood?
Of course, he's still living his childhood home. Why would he?
Of course, he hasn't. Of course, he hasn't left the town that he's grown up in. It's, Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on over there. Sounds like utter chaos.
How's about we talk about?
How's about we edit that out?
How's about we that's one thing. How's about we edit that out? But how's about we talk about what's been going on this past week in the run up to WrestleMania? The start. I've seen the opening segment of Raw, I'd say.
Okay, well the opening segment is all we really need to mention.
Yeah, really.
Because the only note I have is from the opening segment of Raw.
Oh yeah.
Where at the end of the whole thing, Cody Rhodes says, "I'm not going to whine in a 21-minute promo." But that opening segment was 23 minutes long.
I did exactly the same thing.
Fuck, man, I know.
I did exactly the same thing. When he said that, I actually moved my cursor on my computer to see how long the segment was. I was like 23 minutes. I was like, well, you can talk, pal.
I mean, and it's so fun. And now, granted, part of that was some of that opening segment of Raw was a recap of shit.
Yeah,
but it's
and
still,
entrances and stuff.
But that's technically what. But that is still It's the same thing. Like, it's a 23-minute segment.
It's a segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's they've been brilliantly trolling the entire their entire fan base. Like, they're trolling both sides.
Yeah.
And they're like they've got every section of their fan base enthralled for one reason or another.
Well, let me tell you something here. So just to kind of gauge where we're at right now with professional wrestling,
but I don't want to forget there was something I wanted to mention about SmackDown as well.
Oh no, I want to get to SmackDown. Don't worry.
Yeah, we've got to talk about that
because it relates to all of that anyway. So, just as a gauge right now of where we're at in the world with professional, I mean, let's quickly talk about on SmackDown. Obviously, The Rock said wrestling is cool again. He said that in the promo, and I completely agree. Now, I always thought that wrestling has always been cool because I'm a professional wrestling fan. But
Yeah. Well, of course, yes.
But it's in like we keep saying, it's in another one of its booms that we've seen many of over the years. But this is crazy. So this Cody Rhodes story with Reigns and the Bloodline and this whole thing, I have now my girlfriend, who's never watched wrestling in her life, invested in whether or not Cody Rhodes finishes his story at WrestleMania. I have one of my best friends, Alfie, if he's listening, hello, who is not a fan of professional wrestling, but a fan of boxing and MMA, who is now invested in this story. And
then he'll love part of this review.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I showed him a video of that today, actually.
Who and did you tell him how it almost ruined the entire industry?
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
How he is invested in this storyline with the Bloodline, and in fact, today at work, he was asking me about this story. And then we've got two friends of mine, Connor and Robin. Shout out to them if they're listening, who are professional wrestling fans, but they used to watch during the 90s and the early thousands and kind of fell out in love with it. And they've been watching solidly now for a good year. And Connor was out with one of his friends and his friend's wife last week for dinner. And these two people have never watched wrestling in their entire lives. And he found out of the blue that they have started watching wrestling every single week. It's just insane. I keep finding and hearing about people that are either one, getting into wrestling or getting at least into this story because it just seems to be captivating everyone. And it's just so wonderfully done. And I love it.
They're at least enthralled enough to check it out. You know, even if it's only momentary, and even if it's only, up until WrestleMania, but this is exactly, I mean, that goes to prove exactly what we have always been saying, because we're always right.
Always.
This plan, it's cool, that's cool, but this has been the long-term plan because, the cycle is returning again.
Yes.
And it's like, this is the same time period in the cycle previous where you had Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker and Goldberg on TV, on the cover of TV Guide and stuff like this.
Exactly.
Like the industry of professional wrestling is back in that.
It's in the mainstream again, I'd say.
And it's wonderful. It's great to see it, man. It really is great to see it.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone last week about it, and in fact, and I think I've mentioned to you before, it's a funny feeling because it's for me and you who've been watching professional wrestling for our entire lives, let's face it. Like, this is something that we've never really stopped watching. It's always been there for us. And then when you get people either getting into it now or coming back to it, it's like, it's this weird feeling of like, oh shit, I've always been here. Like, and now you're
welcome back.
But welcome back. Like, it's like, it's too long to catch you up. A lot of things have happened. Some guy's balls got electrocuted. A millionaire almost died in a limo. Yeah, what were you going to say about SmackDown? You had something you want to say about SmackDown.
It felt to me like The Rock's promo on SmackDown was intentionally long. Like, almost like it felt like it dragged. It felt like they were just repeating themselves almost, in a way. Like, I did not watch the entire segment. I'll be honest. It took too long. Once The Rock got out there, I was like, just get to the point, dude.
Yeah.
Get to the fucking
Obviously,
point.
He was, fucking around with the crowd quite a lot and doing that stuff.
It might have felt, and it definitely might have been a difference between the feeling live and the feeling on TV.
Yeah, I think one thing that did really get me is when, he talked about Bloodline rules and said he could get Solo Sikoa to sing the national anthem. And that
was pretty.
That was great.
Okay, that was pretty funny. Yeah. Anytime anyone tries to make Solo Sikoa break,
which is
character,
being and pretty unsuccessful so far. So.
Well, I mean,
I think Sammy did.
The fact that Sammy did do it.
Yeah.
But he had to. I mean, you saw him. He had to hide his face. He had to do the whole. He did the whole wiping sweat into his eyes thing, and like, so that it would make him look mean again.
So here's the deal. We get into this every week, this story, and every single week we do it changes, like how we're going to think it's going to go. And as we say, it's as we say, hashtag sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. But
sit back and relax and enjoy the ride.
But so there's a few things I got out of that promo from SmackDown. One is Roman Reigns does not look happy. Like, did you notice that the fact that Roman Reigns knew that The Rock was coming out, yet he seemed like in such a rush to fucking leave?
Yeah.
Right? There's that. And when The Rock was there, he couldn't really look him in the eye. He wanted The Rock to acknowledge him. It's a weird dynamic.
It is. The Rock is overshadowing Roman Reigns.
Exactly, and Roman Reigns has the biggest ego in the company.
And it was extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it was fantastic, and like Paul Heyman's reaction.
Yeah,
well, back to our conversation about the production, which will be on the bonus episode from last week's bonus episode that still hasn't popped up yet. We talk about there's a good we do have a good discussion about the new production.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of it. They captured Roman's, like, that was an extremely uncomfortable thing for him to do.
Yeah.
And it was extremely uncomfortable. Paul Heyman was like, if ever anyone looked like they were going to shit themselves, it was Paul Heyman at that moment.
Yeah, but there's that moment, but there's also after that when they're all holding, I mean, we've all seen it now on social media, but everyone holding up their ones, but for some reason The Rock's holding up a one with his thumb out, and everyone thinks there's something about that.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you noticed,
you should be thinking that, because that's what they're making you do.
But when they did that, Paul Heyman looked up at The Rock and his hand and gave a really suspicious look. It's so subtle, but they wouldn't do that for no reason.
No, well, it's either an Easter egg or a red herring.
Yeah,
So all of these things, all of the things with him pointing at things. They're just so good at this because they're making everybody question everything all the time.
So here, this is where we're at. Like,
ties it back. Well, this does tie back to Raw's opening segment too.
Yeah, well, it ties back to the story going into Mania, because obviously, well, let's talk about this now. Like, we've got this tag team match that's been set up. It's going to be happening on night one. We know that much, and that probably means that, but we're, which is great for us because we get to see both title matches on night two. So fuck yeah, good for us.
Yeah.
Now the way I see it going, just straight in, I see The Rock and Roman Reigns winning the match, which causes obviously bloodline rules. I see Seth Rollins getting injured in that match, therefore he'll be injured going into his match of Drew, and therefore he'll lose the championship. He'll lose his championship. And then he'll blame Cody Rhodes for that and possibly might interfere in the main event, and, who knows. But I also think the tag match will then cause friction between The Rock and Roman Reigns. And this might lead back to what I was saying before, where it leads to The Rock kind of maybe not helping Cody Rhodes, but attacking Roman during the match because he, I don't know, didn't follow his lead during the tag match. And it could again lead to Seth attacking Cody because he blames him for dragging him into the bloodline situation and causing him to lose the World Heavyweight Championship. So that's where I see it going.
And on a very similar, I'm on a very similar train of thought too. I see it go. I see the end result of that match is The Rock pinning Seth Rollins.
Yes,
because that's the biggest impact to the other main event without the people in that main event actually making it happen.
Yeah.
That's how you get the friction between Seth. I mean, even the way they introduced each other, like when Cody introduced Seth as his friend, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I guess he's my friend, kind of thing.
I guess he's my friend. What the fuck? Like, and Seth. But here, this was the thing that going back to talk about SmackDown made me remember was that Seth's promo was equally drawn out.
Yeah.
Like everything and everything they were saying is exactly Drew says it later on at Raw. It's like everything is tying in together. Seth has now got himself in the main event of night one.
Yeah.
Supposedly. But Drew is extremely pissed because, which I don't know why, like he's basically just fucking with Seth even more.
Yeah. Because
he's going to benefit. Drew's straight on a path to benefit from all of this.
Yeah.
Which is a great path.
It's great. I mean, there's so many.
Great for his heel character.
Yeah, and then we've obviously got the Jimmy and Jay situation, which will obviously overlap in ways as well. And it's just great. It's basically everyone on the card is getting almost a rub in a way from the Bloodline storyline. It's not just affecting two people; it's affecting like a card of other people as well, which is great.
Yeah, it's certainly affecting other people because now there's a second match. I mean, there's a multitude of ways to go about this.
Yeah. You
could have like the faux kayfabe, whatever the term is going to be now. Yeah. Faux fabe or whatever. However we're going to hashtag faux fabe.
Faux fabe. There you go.
Hashtag, there we go. Add this to hold on. The next day, episode 30 hashtags. Gotta write this down. Yeah, last week we had hashtag Waterloo by ABBA, hashtag Mania Month, hashtag that's a 10-man ladder match, holy shit. Hashtag faux fabe, which is great. That's great. That's a perfect one. Where were we?
How's about we talk about WrestleMania 15?
How insane it was that the dice determining this landed us on in the last time WrestleMania was in Philadelphia.
How crazy!
These are not fake. I know.
We couldn't
never once
swear
faked
down
this roll.
more in our lives here that these rolls are not fake. And another crazy thing is that we were going to do a review for St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which we obviously didn't end up doing. But that is actually the pay-per-view before this one as well.
Oh, really? Okay. That was the one. Yes, it was. Yeah, looking at the Wikipedia, shout out to Wikipedia page. Yeah, right. So
all right, let's do our usual rundown. WrestleMania 15 on March 28th, 1999, coming to you. Oh, I get my glasses on here. Coming to you live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the First Union Center, which is known as what now, RW?
Dude, I have no idea. It changes It changes every week. It's the Wells. I think it's the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah,
it's the Wells Fargo
Good
Center
job.
now. Yeah,
Good job.
Dude. It really. I never remember the names of any of the arenas in this area because they literally change. Like
it's been known as the Wells Fargo now for quite some time. I think anyway. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
You sound like LA Knight just then.
Yeah.
So crazy. We'll be going to that's the site of this WrestleMania. The tagline for the pay-per-view was the Ragin' Climax.
Peak Attitude Era innuendo there. 20,276 with a buy rate in North America of 800,000 exactly. I don't think that's an estimate.
Would you like to run down the other on-screen personnel? My favorite part of
Hells yes. On the in the commentary, on the commentary, at the commentators, at the commentary tables.
Any one of those.
We have a young and new Michael Cole.
Yeah, you could tell.
We have Jerry the King Lawler. During the main event, we had Jim Ross, which I think was right after he came back from his stroke or from the Bell's palsy.
Yeah, it is. It's that's his return. Yeah,
this was his first return, right?
Yeah.
Big. Yeah, big. Spanish announcers, Carlos Cabrera. He's been there for fucking ever.
I know, right? Yeah.
Hugo Savinovich. We had Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett on commentary during the Battle Royal, and Terry Runnels on commentary during the Ivory versus Jacqueline match. Kevin Kelly was the backstage interviewer, and we have ring announcer Howard Finkel.
Oh yeah.
Referees Mike Chioda, Earl Hebner, Jim Corderas, Theodore Long, Tim White, and Vinny Pazienza for the Brawl for All. Along with the Brawl for All judges, Gorilla Monsoon, Chuck Welpner, and Kevin Rooney.
Whoever the fuck any of those guys are, besides Gorilla Monsoon, obviously.
I'm sure for people that knew things about boxing, those names I think meant something.
But to us, they mean nothing. We start off with none other than Boyz II Men singing the America the Beautiful.
Philly Zone.
Yeah. I didn't know they were from Philly, actually.
Yeah.
Are you proud of that?
Absolutely.
Good, as you should be. As you should be.
Yeah, Boyz II Men are fantastic.
Yeah.
Their voices are angelic.
Yeah. A bit of a shaky start, but after that first kind of key, they got the key and they were off to the races after that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. That was due to technical difficulties.
Yeah. We all know they've got great angelic voices, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we had a promo with Freddie Blassie. It was a really good promo, actually. I really like. I think this is around the time that WWE started to do really fucking good video promos. Like
they were, this was the birth. This was the birth of that.
Yeah, where they've literally gotten a bunch of their stars in a studio to film B-roll for the actual intro itself, and they did that here. They could tell they were like on white backgrounds and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that.
Anytime you just hear classy Freddie Blassie's voice in a reel of anything, it's just like. It just brings you back.
Yeah. Some of my best stuff from him that he did around this time is when they were doing the invasion angle, and they did a promo with him in it, and he's like standing up for his wheelchair and stuff like that. Such good shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just have a quick note here that says it's really strange that wrestling, obviously in the Attitude Era, especially in 1999, was huge. But there was not one single Attitude Era WrestleMania was held in a stadium. Always held in arenas.
Yeah, they hadn't gotten that big yet.
Yeah,
the boom was a television boom.
It was a television boom. You're right.
That's really
I think. Actually, if you look back to the Attitude Era, and I think we've covered quite a few Attitude Era pay-per-views at this point, and you'll notice that Raw and SmackDown were producing really good shit. The pay-per-views weren't actually producing much good stuff at all, in fact, because they had to heavily, but with pay-per-views, they had to heavily rely on the actual wrestling itself. And I actually don't think the wrestling side of things was their strong suit back then. I think the story and the promos were their strong suit. So on a Raw or SmackDown, which was more heavily on the microphone, it was bringing in viewers. But apart from main events at these shows, no matches are really that good, I have to say. Like, not only for this pay-per-view, but at other Attitude Era pay-per-views that we've looked at before. So,
yeah.
Speaking of matches, though, we go straight into the first ever hardcore title match at WrestleMania.
Which, again, being at Philly, like that's the nod to ECW tie-in already.
Yeah. So triple threat for the hardcore championship. Didn't get all that hardcore. Really, it was a match.
It was essentially just a normal triple threat match.
Yeah,
there wasn't.
It's a triple threat match with the incentive of grabbing weapons.
Yeah, there was to be honest, with only 7 minutes, they didn't have a whole lot of time.
There wasn't really anything memorable. Yeah.
No, but I don't think but it was a great warm up.
Yeah, and the crowd are into it, and the Hardcore Championship was a very new thing at this point. If you're wondering why Billy Gunn and Road Dogg were both in singles matches for singles championships at this time, it's because they lost their tag team championship. They didn't break up, but they were just like, let's just try and go for some singles championships. And
and that's pretty much what they got. Road Dogg became IC champion at one point.
Yeah.
Right, and Billy Gunn was. I think Road Dogg was also hardcore champion, and I'm pretty sure Billy Gunn had the same, right?
Yeah, I think they both hold the hardcore Intercontinental Championships at one point around this period. So
good old Monty Sop.
Yeah, Monty. I forgot that was his name. Jeez.
Good old Monty. Yeah.
Yeah, Monty Sop. And Al Snow. Let's just mention Al Snow, just because we didn't mention him really.
Mention Al Snow.
Fuck, I just love Al Snow. He's great. What's there not to love
great.
about Al Snow and Head? Everybody loves Head, right? Am I right?
Everybody loves Head.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Head.
Yeah, everybody wants Head. Yeah, moving on from that, I guess.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I mean, that was it. Yeah, like I said, there wasn't anything memorable about it. It was just a good, it was a good opening match.
Yeah. So, we've got the tag team championship match that came up next. This ties into the battle royal that was in the pre-show. Now, the rules of the pre-show battle royal was the last two people left in the match would then have to forcibly tag together and face the tag team champions, which I thought was a inventive but really fucking strange thing to do at a WrestleMania, especially. So
yeah, yeah, it was. But they were doing a lot of things they were testing out a lot of shit.
Yeah,
but also the champions were Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett, who were kind of thrown together
as well. It's one of these time periods where. I mean, it's very soon after this. Like, you speed ahead about 6 months later, tag team wrestling was great again with the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, Acolytes, Hollies. There was a lot of tag teams. But at this point,
there's that whole cycle thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but at this point, things weren't too hot with the tag team division.
Especially when they only gave them 3 minutes and 58 seconds for their fucking match. This was the first reminder of the Attitude Era cringe.
Yeah, a little bit.
With just Deborah.
Yeah.
And the crowd being the crowd, and
Jerry Lawler being Jerry Lawler.
And Jerry Lawler being Jerry Lawler. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, quick reminder. You do kind of forget, and then it's like someone says something or you see something, and you're like, oh man, this shit does not age well, does it? And this is crazy to think. This is WrestleMania 15. This is Owen Hart's 10th WrestleMania appearance, which just blew my mind. But kind of crazy. You think that Owen Hart's career wasn't that long, and obviously cut very short in '99, later that year actually. But it's crazy to think that he actually had quite a long career if you look at it. He
really did.
Yeah,
he had an amazing career.
He had a great career.
Yeah.
My last note for this match was, what a clusterfuck of a match.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It was terrible.
And what can you do? What can you do with 4 minutes? What else wasn't good for who didn't have a good career was Bart Gunn after this.
Yeah.
I forgot. I mean, even when we look back and realized we were going to see this again, and everything that I remember hearing about it, watching it again reminded me just how bad of an idea that was. How just horrible the entirety of this Brawl for All thing was, and it should have never happened.
It's just ridiculous. It was a fucking shoot fight, just a straight up shoot fight, and it's just
it made wrestling. Honestly, it made professional wrestling look more like a joke.
Yeah,
because it really broke the immersion of. It took you out of it really takes you out of it, and it didn't do anyone any good.
No. It was I mean, fuck me, slow-mo wasn't the best back then, but the slow-mo shot they had of Bart Gunn being knocked out was
dude.
I've never seen I've never seen a man's head wobble around on his shoulders like that before.
And then the way he landed he hit the rope with his neck. Like, watching it again, I was like, fuck, man, he could have died.
Yeah,
and that would have been.
The ropes were kind of like taut as well. Like in boxing, they're quite slackened
in boxing. The ropes
because
are
of that
not.
reason.
The ropes are not that tight in boxing. Like that's another thing that just wasn't thought of.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the fuck came up with this idea. Vince Russo. Oh, shocking revelation. The worst fucking thing in history, next to the 3-towered bullshit garbage cage match, was created by the same bullshit garbage person. Fuck. How about that?
What a surprise, huh?
Let's just. I mean, we've spent more time talking about it than than the match lasted.
Yeah.
All of 35 seconds.
Crazy.
Woo.
Yeah.
Then we get then we get some more twists and turns.
Oh, one quick note. I really like the Brawl for All song, though. I've always liked
the Brawl
that
for All
song.
theme was the
Great
Brawl for All
theme song, man.
I'm pretty sure I feel like they reused
They
that.
did. They recycled it for a wrestler, but I can't remember who.
Yeah.
I'll have to figure that out and come back to you on that one. But
I almost feel like it wasn't too long ago, like a recent.
Yeah, it's not
like someone
not
in
crazy
NXT
long
maybe.
ago. Yeah, but fucking great theme.
Yeah. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh. Yeah, man, that brawl for all was just bad.
It was just bad.
It was just so bad.
I'll say it now because it doesn't really matter what point in the night I say it. Every single fucking match was screwy. Like every single match there was no like straight up match. Do you know what I mean? Like every match had something.
Yeah. Everything had something for sure.
Yeah, just wild. And speaking about every match having something,
the stipulation of this match, I guess this gets into now the heart of the storylines.
Yeah, of the main show kind of thing.
Funny enough, when you think about it,
yeah,
the major story angles going into WrestleMania in Philly were related to two factions: the Corporation and the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah.
And they're all intertwined, and now this year we've got the Bloodline and the Judgment Day, who both have independent things going on with themselves.
Yeah.
But also very much overlapping in areas.
Yeah, for sure. And who'd have thought that the next time Philly returned, Philly had another WrestleMania 25 years later, that The Rock would be in the fucking main event again. Yeah,
The Rock is in the fucking main event in Philly once again. And he's a heel.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
Surprise.
Huh?
I know we're gonna get there, but first we gotta get through Mankind defeated. I'm doing quote unquote fingers. Defeated Big Show via disqualification.
Yeah, because he got choke slammed onto a couple of chairs. But am I right in saying that a fucking chair was used earlier in the match? But I noticed that kind of happens a lot around this time period, that they just kind of like they call disqualification and when it makes story sense. Otherwise, they just let them get away with it.
It's the referee's discretion, man. That's the rule. The referee's
One
discretion.
thing I really want to quickly get to is actually before this match, real quick, there was a backstage brawl between Big Show and Mankind during Heat, I think. Big Show attacks Mankind and they go like tumbling over like a table, and like Big Show, like they both go tumbling over the table and then they kind of slip, and then Big Show's like upside down with his legs like dangling in the air, which is quite funny for like a 7 foot tall man.
No, I wish I had seen that.
Yeah, it was great.
It might have been either Fuck Peacock or I don't know.
Could have been Fuck Peacock, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I noticed in this match as well, during Big Show's entrance, it was overdubbed. Like Howard Finkel's announcement was overdubbed.
Really?
Yeah, like you could tell that he had recorded that like a later date. It wasn't the live broadcast. It was really strange.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know why that was.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah, the stipulation of this match was that the winner would be the special guest referee for the main event.
Yeah. Big Show made his debut 1 month before this at St. Valentine's Day's Massacre. He made.
Wait, what? That was the fucking debut? That was it?
Yeah. So a month before this, he made his debut.
Oh, that's why they were still calling him Paul White.
Yeah, so I think Michael Cole did refer to him as the Big Show a few times, and I think at this time they were like
Show Paul White, yes,
transitioning into that. But yeah, so this was a month after his debut. Obviously, he helped Mr. McMahon in his match against Austin, the cage match, and and then obviously crazy like one month into Big Show's WWE career, and he's already got a face turn.
Yeah, very weird. That happened fucking fast.
Yeah, but I mean,
man.
Yeah, and I think the situation. I don't know. I did read about this and do a bit of research, but I won't lie to you. It kind of confused me as to how I don't know. You bring in a giant from WCW, and his first big storyline is whether or not he's going to referee the main event of WrestleMania. That's kind of weird, but Big Show
anyway.
gets disqualified. Mr. McMahon belittles Big Show, and he knocks him out.
Yes,
and then we find out
he gets arrested.
Well, yeah, Vince wants him arrested. That's what we know so far. Vince wants Big Show arrested. So
they obviously knew right away that they had to turn him face for whatever reason. Like, I guess I don't know. There's got to be a story there somewhere that someone knows. So
yeah,
we're not going to look it up right now. So anyone that wants to tell us what that story was, do so in the comments below. Leave a review of this episode on the places that you can leave reviews, and tell us if you know what the fuck was going on at this time period.
Because a lot was going on.
A lot was going on.
Let's get to Road Dogg versus Val Venis versus Goldust versus Ken Shamrock. One thing I will say, I'm just going to say it. Why the fuck wasn't this a fatal four-way match?
Why wasn't it just a fatal? Why wasn't it just a fatal four-way match?
Yeah. What is this dumb shit about tagging in? If you're the two people that are starting the match, why would you tag in two other people to potentially win the match?
Well, it was an elimination match.
Well, I guess it's elimination.
So I would not want to be in. I would want to not be.
Yeah, you would not. Same thing
that
applies. You wouldn't want to be tagged into the match. You want those two people to beat the fuck out of each. It made no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, here's the deal. Weird. When things are really hard to explain in 1999, you just point and blame Vince Russo. So
Road Dogg wins because of shenanigans. Because Ryan Shamrock accidentally trips Goldust somehow.
Yeah, what the
I don't know where they went with it. We'd have to see where they went with it after that.
If they went anywhere at all with it,
they were decent matches. They were good matches for what they were.
In fact, I think the next one was probably one of the better matches of the card, which is Kane and Triple H.
Yeah, and look at how much because look at how much time you had to tell an actual story.
Yeah,
and. It was one of the ones that actually had a more thought out storyline to it with the Kane, and so we had China turning on DX originally before this, which I guess was right before St. Valentine's Massacre, right?
Yeah, I guess she joined the corporation because of money issues apparently.
Yeah, because of money. Yeah, they bought her out or whatever. And then there was an issue where Kane rescued her, like she fell off the ring. Even fucking China is being reduced
to a damsel in distress.
The ninth wonder of the world, China, is still being reduced to a damsel in distress kind of thing in this angle. in a sort of way.
It?
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, right. Like you see it all. You see it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously China comes out individually of everyone, but you presume that she's with Kane, like because he saved her. But obviously, she attacks Kane in the end. So
that was a real good throwback to that was like when the sensational Sherry with Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Kane. So the whole storyline is China had just turned on DX. Kane now is in love with China or whatever, and they've got this thing going. And now China turns on Kane.
Yeah.
To help Triple H
and rejoin DX.
But Kane wins the match via disqualification.
Yeah, again another match ending in
disqualification. Another screwy match. So who the fuck cares about rejoins DX? Rejoins Triple H.
Well, as far as we know, because there was a promo later in the night with them, with the rest of DX.
Yeah,
saying that now they claim DX claim that they're stronger than ever before.
Yeah, after this we get 5 minutes of kind of bullshit. The women's match wasn't great. It wasn't good. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
This was Tori's WrestleMania debut. I think it was. I mean, I don't know. She was very new, and the women's division was not very strong at this point either. Like they just weren't. They just weren't great. It just wasn't great. Like, the women were, even though they weren't divas yet, they were still more eye candy than much. I mean, Sable was breaking out a little bit, and we did have China, but it was still so rough to watch because.
There were no women back then with fleshed out characters, really.
Yeah, they were everything. All
they were just peddled out for men to look
shallow.
at, basically. Yeah.
When you look at the stories on the women's division now versus then too.
Oh, I mean, man, night and day.
Again, we're heavily criticizing something that is 25 years old.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
It feels like fucking yesterday, but it was 25 years is a long fucking time.
Oh yeah.
In today's society, like it's a full generation.
It's a generation. Yeah, you're right. It's a generation.
Basically, so it's good to see how far we've come here.
Yeah, well, the signing Nicole Bass was a pretty controversial thing she trained she trained with ECW but she was obviously heavy on steroids, and that wasn't a good look. So
yeah,
just to call a spade, it is ultimately what killed her. But
yeah,
it's like just another clusterfuck of a match, and anything to do with women back in this period was just a waste of fucking time, basically.
Yeah, it really was. There wasn't anything good. It wasn't anything good. It was. Anyway,
the only redeeming quality in this, compared to we're doing WrestleMania 25, am I correct? In a few weeks from now,
we're 26.
26. The only redeeming quality of this is that at least this fucking card had a women's championship title match on it.
That's true.
That's the only redeeming quality, though, because WrestleMania 26 didn't even have a women's championship match. Anyway, skipping on from that.
Anyway, moving on.
To a match that I actually enjoyed more than I thought I would, actually.
Because surprise, Shane McMahon's Mania matches are good.
Yeah, and you know what? This is one of his first. I mean, I'll actually check that now, but I'm pretty sure that this is one of his first matches. Well, not his first, but obviously
but maybe first WrestleMania.
Yeah. This is his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th match ever.
Okay, but this is more stuff that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
So the shenanigans, the bullshit, all the shenanigans with this match. Shane McMahon had Test with him.
How many times did Test get involved? By the way, holy fuck.
And what was the point of Triple H going after Test There's so much crazy
well,
shit
Triple H
involved
didn't.
with this.
Triple H didn't attack Test. He
pulled him out of the ring.
He pulled him out of the ring. So I guess he didn't attack him. He just pulled him out.
Oh, yeah, he didn't. But yeah, man, there was so much stuff happening at the end of that match. I don't even remember what the fuck happened.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, the match itself, I quite enjoyed. I thought Shane actually had a really good showing in that match. I thought X-Pac was great. X-Pac's fun to watch wrestling. He's got a great spinning heel kick. He's great. He's great.
He was really good. X-Pac was really good at this time. I guess the point was because as Triple H when they were coming out, it was intentionally to look like he was coming out to help X-Pac. So he pulled Test out of the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. And then he turned for no apparent reason. Like, was it ever, like, again, I don't remember. We would have to go back and look. But so Triple H joined the corporation with China.
Yeah.
We later get X-Pac and Kane team with that was when the X-Pac Kane
That's what
duo,
led to X-Pac and Kane becoming a tag team.
Which led to Kane with the voice box and leaving him to take the mask off.
Yeah, which led to them breaking up, and then what happens? DX gets back together again.
Yeah.
Like all of this never happened.
Yeah. It was, I mean, that's professional wrestling.
That's professional wrestling, yeah, true. Quick shout out to Patterson and Briscoe making the worst attempt at attacking X-Pac at the start of the match. Also, did you see Billy Gunn slide into the ring when he came out to save X-Pac?
Yeah, holy fuck, man. He slid all the way across the fucking ring.
Triple H practically had to stop him. He would have slid all the way through.
Yeah.
I thought I'd never seen anyone slide through in the ring like that before.
No, goddamn. Him and Titus with the fucking slides.
Yeah.
Well, Titus was a trip. But,
yeah.
Speaking of a fucking trip, how about the next fucking match? This was a trip.
What a fucking trip. What do you say about this match? First of all, definitely probably the most boring, lame Hell in a Cell match that's ever happened. I'd probably say.
Not that great.
Yeah.
Not that great. But this was the only Ministry versus Corporation.
Well, yeah, but this is the match that got me thinking. So I was like, okay, so we got Vince McMahon obviously going against it as the Corporation with The Rock going against Stone Cold, right? So that makes the Corporation heels. But then I was like, oh, well, wait, Ministry were heels too. So Ministry versus Corporation is a heel versus heel situation.
It's like the blood war between demons and devils in Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, there you go.
They're two evil factions that are also at war with each other.
So, but that got me to thinking. I was like, well, I can see what they were trying to do here. So they're two heel factions, but we have heels and faces, like Stone Cold's a face and the Ministry and the Corporation are heels. But I feel like with the fucking sacrificial crosses and hangings, they were trying to make the Ministry more than heels. They were trying to make them straight up evil, basically.
There was yeah, for sure. It was true evil.
Yeah.
And not just good bad evil.
Yeah.
Is the range because it's the Attitude Era. So of course the middle ground is bad.
Yeah.
Your middle ground is heel.
Yeah, exactly. So
it was shocking but that's because it was meant for the story at the end and the shocking end.
I mean it was to set up the end of the match basically, which was
the fucking Brood dropping down from the ceiling.
Apparently, it took all three members of the Brood to drop down from the rafters of an arena to drop a single rope through.
It took three men.
Do you know what was the funniest part of this? Michael Cole must have said like 6 times, "Is it symbolic? Is it symbolic? Is it symbolic?
Yeah.
Is this meant to be symbolic?" He just kept saying it over and over and over again.
Probably because the entire thing took way too fucking long to do,
Yeah.
and he didn't, and he ran out of cards that were, of lines that were given to him.
He just kept saying it.
Yeah.
And good thing, because off he goes, because then we got JR after this. But moving on to something that wasn't garbage, because I really fucking enjoyed the main event. I genuinely, like, probably the only thing I
Stone Cold
actually
versus The
enjoyed.
Rock.
Yeah, how could you not? It's just a given, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get one more piece of Icebreakers, Ice Cube's peppermint gum for this one. The main event brought to you by Ice Cube's Icebreakers peppermint gum. All right. We're good to go now. Sorry.
All right, where are we? I've lost my notes. So JR comes out. He's on commentary. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Big pop.
This is brilliant. I love this. So earlier in the night, Mr. McMahon, we missed this actually. Earlier in the night, Mr. McMahon announces, I'm going to be the referee of the match, and I've got a really nice referee shirt in my bag. He doesn't come out in a referee shirt.
Yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck, dude?
Why say that when you know you're not going to come out in one anyway?
Well, because he doesn't get to use it anyway. Because...
Yeah, here comes the commissioner.
The commissioner, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Because somehow the commissioner, a person appointed to it, has more say than the owner of the company.
Yeah.
Still, I don't know. All right. Because wrestling.
Because
wrestling rules.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, Shawn Michaels comes out, tells Vince McMahon that he doesn't get to appoint the special guest
You own the
referee.
company. You don't make the rules around here.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah. By the way, did you notice that Shawn fucked up? So he was banning the corporation from ringside.
Oh, yeah.
And then he said, oh, well, you can stay, because he realized that
can
Vince has to interfere later. So he just said, you can stay. So meaning that Vince is allowed, but no one in the rest of the corporation's allowed to interrupt.
I guess figuring that he's the least likely to like be able to do thing, like
I
physically
suppose,
get involved. But still, yeah, it's just like, I guess you can stay for all the lulls.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
so here we are.
This match was and obviously then he brings out Mike Chioda. Mike Chioda is the first referee in this match of 4, by the way.
First of 4 referees in this fucking match. Philly, this is also a foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Be prepared for maximum shenanigans.
Oh, this is maximum shenanigans.
This WrestleMania is good. WrestleMania XL. Yeah, WrestleMania XL stands for extra large amount of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Hashtag extra large shenanigans.
Extra large
XL shenanigans. XL. Yeah.
I like it.
How would you? Yeah. Do you want to extra large shenanigans for your WrestleMania? I do. Man. First of 4 referee. Yeah. What do you want to say about this match? I mean, a lot happened. A few things. The Rock is 27 years old here. That blows my mind.
The reason Austin didn't have an entrance vest in this match is because he literally just forgot it. He literally left it at home. Right. That's the legit story right there. And get this, Austin winning this championship at this event in March was the 6th WWF championship reign of 1999.
Yeah, dude, this was hot. Oh yeah, this was hot potato.
This is the hot potato year. In fact, this is one of my did you knows.
I was just about to say, how did you not have this as a did you know?
Oh, I already had this as a did you know.
Oh, you did. Oh, this was
the year when there was like a million fucking title reigns.
Throwback. This is a throwback. Did you throwback?
Did you throwback?
Did you hashtag? Did you throwback?
Did you throwback? Yes, I did.
Did you throwback? All right.
One thing I will say, watching this match, I really got an appreciation for fighting outside of the ring and through the crowd. And I was like, some wrestlers are really good at it. By watching this match, I'm like, some aren't. And I realized Austin was probably one of the best at brawling outside the ring. He made it look convincing.
Well, his style, his style at the time, it worked with him.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, they were really good. They were really good at being aware of their environment and how close they were to other people.
Yeah,
too.
Especially with the rowdy crowd like they were back in '99 as well. Like, just men high on testosterone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. They were. I mean, they're two of the best. They're two of the best to ever do it.
So we got Mike Chioda taking a fucking unprotected chair shot to the head.
Dude, I know. Holy fuck, Mike Chioda.
Which brought out Tim White, who then got rock bottomed. Which brought out Earl Hebner, fucking Earl Hebner, who got punched in the face, and then that brought out Vince McMahon. Yep, that brought out Vince McMahon, which then brought out Mick Foley.
But Mankind came limping with his like hand Sharpie markered referee shirt.
And then Austin gets the win. It's a genuinely, like, it holds up. This match does actually hold up.
Overall though, looking at it and comparing it at the time, of course, it's WrestleMania. It's the biggest and grandest of everything. And the shenanigans were as shenanigan-y as possible. Everything was great. The bullshit of Vince Russo's ideas were as the highest level of bullshit.
Yep.
So all in all, I would still rate this not exceptional.
Okay, what are you giving it?
I'm thinking 15.
15.
I'm thinking giving it. 15 for 15 for WrestleMania 15.
I am going with 12.
Damn.
Very low, but
okay.
I just.
What else didn't do it for you?
A lot didn't do it for me. I was. This is the first pay-per-view that we've gone back and watched where, like, I've at least, like, enjoyed the matches, but then the stories going on around it, I've been a bit lackluster. This was just like, the matches were, for the most part, lackluster. There's about three matches that I actually thought were quite good. The rest were either from terrible to okay. I don't want to be overly critical, obviously, but, like, there's 12 matches. Well, with the pre-show, there's 12 matches on this card.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. I just Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, excellent match. Like, one of the better matches of WrestleMania history. Kane versus Triple H, I enjoyed. Shane McMahon versus X-Pac, I enjoyed. And I guess Mankind versus Big Show was fun. But that's 4 matches out of a possible 12. So I guess for me, I think a 12. A stretch of 13, but I think I'm going to stick with a 12.
Yeah, I know I get it, and I think the only reason I'm as high as I am is just because of Philly, of just because of a little bit of that. But yeah, overall, like, there were matches on the main card that should have been on Heat, and there were matches on Sunday Night Heat that should have been determined on the Raw beforehand.
I tell you what. If the match if the pay-per-view had started with Mankind and Big Show, and then you did the rest of the matches after that and left that as a pay-per-view and gave every match a bit more time, then that actually would have been a great fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, you know what? That would have been even better. So there it is. There it is. A 12 and a 15. What's that? That gives us a combined 13 and a half, which
we don't do here.
Which we don't do halves. So
we give it a 13 or a 14.
I'll give it a 13. No, we'll keep it at 13.
Let's do it 13, yeah.
13 sounds like here it is. That's it.
And that's that. Our lowest rated pay-per-view yet, at least since we've been rating them anyway. I think there's others that we've reviewed which definitely would have been worse than this.
Yeah, what else is there? Well, definitely, I've got to do the outro that says after we're done talking about it, do the outro.
Yeah.
Which says, yeah. If you're not already, follow us on social media and leave your reviews.
Oh, actually, before we do that,
oh shit!
Let's roll.
Okay.
Let's roll for our ECW pay-per-view. And then
while you do that, I'll keep telling the people.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, let's start that over. I'll shut the fuck up. How about that?
On Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikToks at Punks Talk Wrestling. Patreon.com/Punks Talk Wrestling, where you can listen to all our uncut episodes. So yeah, get it. Go get it. And now, back to CJ Newman.
How you doing there? All right, so we're doing a D10. I'm trying to find a D10 here, and I'm fucking struggling.
Oh, well, I got one.
Oh no, it's not D12.
I got.
You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
All right, go nuts.
All right. That's a 7. It's November to remember again.
7. So 7. 1994.
1994. November to remember.
Okay, we do have that. Okay.
Featuring in the main event, Too Cold Scorpio versus Chris Benoit. Holy shit.
We've also got Chris Benoit versus Sabu.
In the same event?
Yeah, right before that one.
Oh, well, there's also Too Cold Scorpio versus Mr. Hughes earlier. So maybe there was some sort of they each had to have two matches before the main event.
Got Public Enemy versus Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck. Shane Douglas versus Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
For the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. We got Dean Malenko versus the Tasmaniac. Tommy Dreamer versus Tommy Cairo. Pitbulls versus the Bad Breed, and JT Smith versus Hack Myers, whoever they are. All right. Good luck editing that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. That'll be great. Yeah, man. Other than that, I think that's it. Right?
I think that's it. Yeah.